Hello students, welcome to the channel. In this video, we'll solve the first writing passage of the March 2018 US SAT. Agriculture grows up. Current agricultural practices will not be able to meet the needs of the world's growing population, which is expected to rise to 9.6 billion by the year 2050. The amounts of arable land, water, and fossil fuels necessary to feed so many people using conventional agricultural methods are simply too great. Vertical farms maximize available space by stacking plant racks on top of each other inside skyscrapers and by growing crops year-round regardless of weather conditions. This method of farming increases crop production per square meter, yielding much more food than does a traditional farming method employed on an equivalent area of land. One creative alternative is vertical farming, growing crops arranged vertically inside tall buildings rather than spread horizontally on land. To make this paragraph most logical, sentence 5 should be placed where? So this is the place where vertical farming is introduced. So this should ideally come after the second sentence here, because here I'm talking about the problems with current agricultural practices, how they are not sustainable. The amount of land, water, and fuel necessary is simply too great. And then I can talk about the alternative of vertical farming, define what it is, and then describe vertical farms in more detail. So after sentence 2 is where this introduction of vertical farms should come. Conventional agriculture uses 70% of the world's available drinking water for irrigation, while vertical farming techniques are much more efficient in its use of water. So here I need to choose the correct pronoun for vertical farming techniques. So I'm looking for a pronoun for the word techniques. And since this is plural, the pronoun should also be plural, which is there. So vertical farming techniques are much more efficient in their use of water. Its is the singular pronoun, so that doesn't fit here. IT apostrophe S is the abbreviation for it is, so that doesn't fit here, and THERE is not a pronoun. Using drip irrigation to water the roots of plants directly rather than irrigating the soil around the plants, vertical farmers use less water than do traditional places like farms. Now, I'm saying vertical farms use less water. Now, it's not about traditional places, right? It's about traditional farms because I'm comparing vertical and traditional farms. So it's not A. Farms using traditional methods. Again, I don't have to say that because I can simply say traditional farms. So this has too many words. Vertical farmers use less water than do traditional farmers, right? So I should not say farms, but farmers because I'm saying farmers here. So this is the best answer. And here I'm comparing farmers with farms. So that is not a like-to-like comparison. So the best answer is C. Vertical farmers use less water than do traditional farmers. Other water-efficient methods available to vertical farmers are hydroponics, suspending plants in troughs of circulating nutrient-enriched water, and aeroponics, irrigating plants with only water vapor and nutrients. At this point, the writer wants to add the following sentence: wheat, corn, and rice are problematic to grow in vertical farms because of the large amount of space these crops require relative to the amount of food they produce. Should the writer make this addition here? So I don't think I want to talk about the problems of vertical farms just yet. Right now, I'm speaking of the advantages, especially with regard to water conservation. So this doesn't really fit at this place. So I don't want to do it. No, because it distracts from the focus of the paragraph by adding irrelevant information. Yeah, so this is a good answer because the problem of growing grains is not something that comes here. No, because it contradicts a point made earlier in the paragraph. So it's not about contradicting a point, it's about water efficiency, right? So this paragraph is about water efficiency. So space required is not something that's relevant here. So C. Because their indoor facilities can be placed anywhere, there is sufficient light and energy. Vertical farms can be located where they had been most needed in cities. Okay, so here I'm saying that vertical farms can be placed wherever there is sufficient light and energy. So this sounds good, just about enough. So this is the same as sufficient. So why would I use 3 words instead of 1? An unobjectionable amount of light and energy. This is just an exaggerated option. So not good. A plenitude of essential. So again, an exaggerated option. The precise and the formal answer that fits here is A. Vertical farms can be located where they are most needed, right? I'm speaking in the present tense. Had been is past perfect, so that doesn't make sense. Were is past. And are being is not relevant here because are being would be present continuous and that's not required here. We can simply say they can be located where they are most needed. So in the general sense, not in the continuous sense. So C. Establishing farms in cities not only provides residents with fresh produce, but also reduces the fossil fuel consumed during shipping. So establishing farms in cities not only provides, but also reduces. So not only and then the verb. So but also and the verb, that would be parallel. So the way it's written is correct. Okay, when I say not only, I should say but also. So and also, as it also, and while also don't make sense. So the best answer is A. Salad greens from the Chicago-based company farmed here, for example, are sold within a few miles of the vertical farm where they are harvested. By contrast, most lettuce consumed in Chicago must be transported over 1,000 miles by truck before it is eaten. Despite the advantages of vertical farming, it can be difficult to construct buildings that let in enough sunlight for crops to grow, and the energy needed to supplement or replace sunlight with artificial light can be prohibitively expensive. Okay, which choice most effectively sets up the next sentence? So let's read that. However, preliminary experiments with low-cost LED lights have been promising, showing that farming with artificial light can be feasible on a large and great scale. Okay, so basically I'm saying here that it can be hard to produce crops on vertical farming because constructing buildings with sufficient sunlight is difficult. But then I'm saying that now low-cost LEDs are available that can offer a solution to this problem. So the way it's written seems good. The energy needed to supplement or replace sunlight with artificial light can be prohibitively expensive. Because then I can say that low-cost LEDs are a solution. So I like A. The air quality inside the buildings differs according to location. So here I'm not speaking of air quality, I'm speaking of the availability of light. The architect would likely need some knowledge of vertical farming. Again, that's not about the actual construction of the building. And cities that are already populous may not have room for more buildings. So that again is not an issue that is discussed here. It's about the availability of cheap artificial light. Farming with artificial light can be feasible on a large and great scale. So this is repetitive. Large and great makes it redundant. So it's not A. Large scale by itself conveys the idea. Large, extensive, also repetitive. And D is also repetitive. More experiments are necessary to demonstrate the viability of vertical farms, which Dixon Despomier, professor of public health and environmental health sciences at Columbia University, believes could make cities nearly self-sufficient food producers. Okay, so here I'm saying more experiments are necessary, which Dixon Despomier believes could make cities nearly self-sufficient. So that's the main sentence. And the fact that he's professor at Columbia, that is additional information. So the comma should be after Despomier, not after of. So this is the right answer. Debsomia, professor of public health till Columbia University, believes could make cities nearly self-sufficient. So this part is additional information. Option A is wrong because wrong placement of comma. Option C is wrong. And option D, obviously, I need a comma to start the additional information. Still, as demand for agricultural produce continues to increase, vertical farming advocates will likely encourage consumers to patronize local businesses, including vertical farms. The writer wants a conclusion that restates the main idea of the passage. Which choice best accomplishes this goal? So as demand for agricultural produce increases, vertical farming advocates will likely encourage consumers to patronize local businesses. No, so that shifts the focus from vertical farms to local businesses, and that's not what the passage is about. Vertical farming advocates seek additional ways to allow sunlight into city buildings so the plants can grow. That's one of the aspects of vertical farming, but that's not the main thing. So definitely cannot be a concluding statement. Researchers are continuing to investigate the feasibility of using low-cost LED in vertical farming. So again, just an aspect, not a conclusion. Vertical farming and similar methods to meet the world's nutritional needs can only become more important. So this kind of restates the main theme that we started with, that because conventional farming is not sustainable, we need vertical farming in such efforts to meet the future's nutritional needs. Okay, let's grade this. Question 1. CDCCA, CDCCA. Number 6, CAABBD, CAABBD. Okay, we got all correct. Hope this exercise helped. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.